Chari Kunda Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Govinda Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radha, Jaya Radha, Govinda Gopinath Radha, Jaya Radha, Gopinath Radha, Gopinath Radha, Jaya Gopinath Radha, Jaya Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाए, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जाए, आज की वृंदावन यात्रा की जाए। हरे कृष्णा। So today we are supposed to be discussing the pastimes of Sri Krishna in Vrndhavan, and his main pastimes in the holy dham is to do these three activities technically. What are they? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkratam, and then dharma samstarpanarthaya. Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So, we are discussing the 10th canto, the 11th chapter and the 12th chapter, where Krishna kills two prominent demons. One is Bakasura and the other is Aghasura. Okay. So, the childhood pastimes of Sri Krishna are very, very special. And if you are able to hear these childhood pastimes from the lotus lips of Srila Sukadev Goswami, who is the original author of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the son of Srila Vyasadeva, who gave all this knowledge to Srila Sukadev Goswami. If you are able to hear the childhood pastimes, we should have great amount of gratitude for Maharaj Parikshit, because Maharaj Parikshit, he makes a special request to Sukadev Goswami to relate the childhood pastimes of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the childhood pastimes of Sri Krishna are extremely sweet, and the childhood pastimes lifts everyone beyond the modes of material nature, is very, very pleasing to the ear and the mind. The moment we hear the childhood pastimes of Krishna, all the anarthas are completely vanquished immediately. All material desires, which is the root cause of our material existence, completely go away. Yeah. So in the material world, we have got adhyatmic miseries, adi bhautik miseries, and we have got adi daivik miseries. No one can escape these three miseries. Besides these, there are four other miseries. What are they? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadi. So these are the seven problems that we are all tackling. And we have made very big progress because we were very fortunate to get the association of Srila Prabhupada and his devotees in this lifetime. The first important thing is that we should be able to recognize the problem if we want solutions for it. Yeah, and we find that most of the people in the material world, they are fairly aware that they are suffering in this material world, but they don't know the cause of the suffering, and they don't know the solution of the suffering. Half the battle is won if we know the cause of our material suffering, which is all thanks to and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our wonderful acharyas in the line who have given us so much knowledge. So at least we have come to the state of understanding the problems of material existence. So that is completely finished when we hear the childhood pastimes of Krishna. It is said that Maharaj Parikshit himself said this, that the childhood pastimes of Sri Krishna is greater than the pastimes of any of the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead like Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, etc. Okay? So, what does the um, Krishna Katha do to us? It is Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantasto hi abhadrani vidu noti suhurta satam. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna. If you hear the katha of Krishna, then what happens? Punya and Shravana Kirtana, Punya, all auspiciousness enter our heart when we hear the Kirtan or the glorification of the Supreme Personality of God. And the Supreme Lord is so kind that what does He do? Hridyantasto hi abhadrani. He enters into our heart and vidunoti, He cleans everything up. Vidunoti suhurta satam. So this is what He does, the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna Katha, especially the childhood pastimes, are very easy to hear and it creates inquisitiveness. Yeah. So so we hear so many pastimes of Vrindavan of Krishna and Balaram. When they were tiny little kids, they were there. When these two pastimes happened, Krishna was around 3.5 to 4 years old when he killed this Bakasura and Agasura. So many wonderful pastimes. Krishna used to go for his playhood pastimes with his cowherd boyfriends, and Rohini used to come and say, "It's time now, Bacha. You have become so dirty. You have been playing all day long. Papa is waiting for you. Vasudev is waiting for you to come home for your lunch prasadam. So please come home." When Rohini goes there, they don't listen to him. There is one aspect that actually Balaram, though she is son of Rohini, Yashoda loves him more than even Rohini herself, you know. So then she goes and reports saying that, look, I've been calling them, but they refuse to come. Then Yashoda goes there and gives the explanation. Look, it's time. Vasudev is waiting for you. And you know, it's our family tradition to have lunch all the time as a family. The family that eats together, prays together, and they go back home back to God. It have prasadam together. So one meal a day was always, it was a system in their house that the entire family sits down and eats. So once you come, have prasadam, first you clean up, and then you bathe, then you eat prasadam, and then again I will decorate you. You can go back and play again. So these wonderful pastimes, the parents of Krishna used to have with Krishna and Balaram. Like this, every person in Vrindavan had different set of pastimes with Krishna. The gopis used to say, you know, it's as though the Supreme Personality of Godhead was at their beck and call. They will say, I'll give you these sweet laddus, dance for us. And then when they dance, then Krishna immediately obliges and dances for them. Same way the Yashodas and the other gopis used to engage Sri Krishna in very, very small leelas. They used to say, bring this for me, bring that for me, bring my wooden shoes for me. I have to go out now. And Krishna would oblige. Because Krishna, even though he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, absolutely no weakness and full of all strengths, as explained by Parashar Muni, still Krishna had one weakness, and his weakness was all the people who are sitting here today. The devotees were the biggest weakness, and he was completely subdued by devotees of himself. Yeah. So, because devotees increase pleasure of Sri Krishna. You know, we don't even think of this. We are thinking of how to please the Lord, and all our focus is there. But you don't know how much Krishna loves his devotees, and he's completely, um, subdued by the devotees of the Lord. We have all heard that wonderful pastime of the fruit seller. You know, she was like an ordinary, what do you call it, aborigine, like a typical village lady. She used to come to sell fruits, and then her heart completely melted the moment she saw Krishna, and Krishna brought some grains from his house. You know, the barter system prevails. He would give grains, and the fruit seller would get fruits in return. How much of grains can the tiny little hands of Krishna, who is so young, can even have in his hands, right? So most of the grains which he is holding in both the hands start spilling out from between the fingers. And by the time Krishna comes to the fruit seller, hardly any grains were left. But then the fruit seller was such a great devotee. She said that take whatever you want. And then she would give everything that she had, and whatever Krishna's hands could hold, she would give it to him. And then, with no expectation of any return. But Krishna has made a promise in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. He doesn't need anything, but still he chooses to be subdued by his devotees who show him so much affection. So, and Krishna kills so many demons, and every time, in Vrindavan at least, nobody believes that Krishna ever killed, especially Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj used to say, all this is the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's got nothing to do with Krishna's powers. He is my tiny little child who requires so much of affection, and he requires so much of care from our side. And it's all the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the predictions of the greatest of great astrologers, Gargamuni, who said that Krishna is equal to Narayana. Yeah? So he didn't take it as Krishna is equal to Narayana, but he took it as since he has got the Narayana's mercy, he is getting saved every time when the demons are attacking him. So, in the earlier episodes of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have already seen how Krishna killed Putana and how Krishna killed Satakasura, how Krishna killed Trinavrata, the whirlwind, you know, demon. And he thought that everybody in Vrindavan, especially his father, Nanda Maharaj, thought that somehow by the providence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Trinavrata fell on a slab of stone and then he was finished. It is a mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So um, there was a senior Gopa in Vrindavan by name Upendra. He was a senior Gopi. And Upendra said that there are so many, uh, demons coming and disturbing our happiness in the Vrndhavan or the Gokula where we are staying. I suggest that we go away from Gokula for some time till the disturbances recede, and we'll check ourselves into another place for a while. So everybody considered this, and then they said, unanimously, we agree with you, let us leave Vrindavan. You know, um, so this was very exciting for the cows of Vrindavan as well, because the cows of Vrindavan always used to feel that the grass which is there outside of Gokula is more tasty than the grass which is there within Gokula. So they used to love going on long walks, not drives. So long walks and grazing in the other forests which are around Gokula. So for them, going to Vrindavan was like a major shift which they loved very much. So they decided to go out of Brihadvana or Gokula, and there are two places where Nandeshwar and Mahavan is there. So there is Vrindavan. Vrindavan is full of lush green grasses, plants, creepers, and so many beautiful creations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then they said, okay, now Mahavan didn't work out. We have tried that place before. There also there is a lot of disturbances. Yeah. Look at the enthusiasm that the devotees had in spite of the disturbances of the various demons, right? That is one learning which we should all have. In our Krishna consciousness, it's very challenging to balance between our material jobs and to balance between the devotional service requirements. There are a lot of disturbances. It's not just for grihasthas who are working, but it's for everyone. Yeah, even the sannyasis, the brahmacharis, everybody has some disturbance or other. in their spiritual practice. So, in spite of that, our job is to somehow, tolerate the disturbances and go on with our Krishna consciousness. So, that's one important learning. So, Mahavan didn't work out before. So, let's go to Vrindavan. So, Vrindavan was selected as the next destination out of Gokula. So everybody, what did they do? They took their carts, and there were old people, there were women, there were young children, and everyone gathered, the cowherd boys, the cowherd girls, all the old people were, the old men, old women were, helped into the carts because they cannot walk this long distance. And then everybody started moving towards Vrindavan. Okay? So that's just imagine the scene there and get it imprinted in your heart. All the people of Vrindavan were so uh, fabulously opulent, you know, so they wore opulent clothes, colorful clothes, and the cows were also decorated. Just imagine that scene, how it will be, so that it attracts us to participate in this long walk with Krishna after this lifetime is over. So it was a very, very colorful scenario. Yeah. So the farmers were very, very wealthy people. Yeah, and that's how they're meant to be, unless until Rakesh Tikait will get the farmer agitation. So they are supposed to be very, very healthy. If you go to a country like Vietnam, it's a very self-sufficient, prosperous nation, and that's because agriculture is very, very, you know, happening there, and it's a very prosperous country which has got, you know, incredible value to the economy of the nation. Yeah. So the cows would move in front, and then the cowherds would carry bows and arrows. Cowherds, even though they are Vaishyas by profession, they also had some Kshatriya duties to perform because they are taking the cows to the for grazing into the forests, and they are doing agricultural activities. So they always had some skills to fight with bow and arrow in case some danger comes. So all the cowherd boys were going with bows and arrows, and they were protecting the women, they were protecting the old people, and the cows as well. The cows were moving in front. So while they were going, Yashoda and uh, Yashoda and Rohini, what were they doing? They could not leave Krishna for a moment. So they were listening to the various Krishna Leela between the various devotees who were traveling with them. They just couldn't separate from Krishna and Balaram even for a moment. Okay, so they were listening to Krishna Katha besides taking care of Krishna and listening to Krishna Katha is on the same spiritual platform. So it was a very, very joyful event. Yeah. So we should understand how Krishna Katha is so pleasurable, right? Whenever there is Srimad Bhagavatam discussed, normally if you don't crack a joke or two in between, everybody's eyes slowly start, you know, going down. There is some connection between sleep and Bhagavatam. I don't know what it is. So they entered Vrindavan and set up a temporary, uh, you know, setup for stay there, and the entire bullock carts were actually arranged in a semicircular fashion. Yeah, it was a conference seating arrangement. Yeah, so and one side was not covered because there was trees and bushes. So all the four sides were covered, and they had a conference meeting there on what next has to be done. Yeah, such a wonderful thing. It's a material world is a very poor imitation of what goes on in the spiritual world, right? So we should all aspire to participate in this kind of activity in the spiritual world, which is so much more pleasurable. And what went through Krishna and Balaram? They saw Vrindavan, they saw the Yamuna river. They have been seeing the Yamuna river right through the travel. They were traveling by the banks of the Yamuna river, and they saw the Yamuna river, they saw Govardhan, and they saw Vrindavan itself, and it gave them great pleasure because when these three things are there, Vrindavan, Govardhan, and Yamuna river, who is present there? Srimati Radharani is present there. Yeah. So Radharani, when she was requested by Sri Krishna that you should come down to the earth planet because I have got some important work to do. I have to do paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. So I need you and your associates to come along with me. Radharani put a condition. Unless the Vrindavan from the spiritual planet, unless Govardhan from the spiritual planet, and unless Yamuna Devi, the great river Yamuna, does not come with me, I shall not go. So that's how these three beautiful things in Vrindavan actually came down to the earth planet for the pleasure of Srimati Radharani. So Krishna and Balaram knew that when these three things are there, Radharani's energy is present eternally there, and Radharani will be somewhere around this place. The thought of that gave Krishna and Balaram uh, a lot of transcendental pleasure. And then Krishna and Balaram, along with the small boys, they were still very young. They were just a little over 3 years, maybe around 3.5 years. They still had broken languages. They don't, talk fluently in their language, just like small things. And they would do very, very small things. And the system of education was at 3.5 years, everybody gets education. And what's the education they get? Krishna and Balaram, since they were Vaishyas, they were given education on how to take care of cows. It didn't matter that Krishna was from a very aristocratic, rich family. He himself is the richest person on the planet. So it didn't matter what sort of background he, what sort of background, they all have to go through their education process. Yeah. So the education started when he was a little over 3 years old, and Krishna and Balaram played and tended the cows in Vrindavan, right? And today the education system, you know what it is, right? So you fight for NEET exams, and after the fight is over in the evening, have two NEETs. It's too many devotees are smiling. They know what I'm saying. Yeah. So they used to play a lot of games, right? And then they carried their flutes, ropes, and stones for plucking the fruits. They knew the art of how the fruits have to be plucked from the tall branches of the fruit trees. And they used to get fruits like amalaki there. And then they used to cover themselves with blankets and act like monkeys. Yeah. And they used to imitate cows and bulls. Yeah. By covering themselves in blankets and make noises of different animals. Yeah. Peacock is the favorite bird. So they used to make sounds of peacock. Peacock, no doubt, looks very, very transcendentally beautiful. But I don't know why they imitated the noise of peacocks. Peacocks don't have a very good voice, right? But still, I'm sure the peacocks of Vrindavan had some transcendental voices which they used to imitate. So suddenly Vatsasura comes, and while they are in the grazing pastimes of the Vrindavan forest, and they saw that one of the calves there, are not from the normal crowd. So they got suspicious. Krishna immediately knew that this was a demon, yeah, Vatsasura. So he just took his hind legs, swirled it around, and immediately threw it on one of the kapita tree. And the kapita tree gives wonderful fruits, which are like sweet and sour at the same time. So again, disturbance has started in Vrindavan too. Yeah, that disturbance gives all of us transcendental pleasure listening to Krishna Katha, isn't it? So these disturbances must also be used for giving us transcendental pleasure. So so that's how it went. So Vatsasura was finished, and immediately when Vatsasura finished, they saw another demon there. And who was that demon? Bakasura. Bakasura assumed the body of a big duck, the duck Asura. Yeah, Krishna was completely devoured by the Bakasura demon. It had huge beaks. I think one is touching the clouds and the other touching the ground. And with its big beaks, just devoured Krishna. The moment Krishna was devoured by the Bakasura demon, even Balaram, who is so strong himself, non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the other cowherd boys, not out of fear, but because of extreme affection for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they were bewildered by this and they lost consciousness for a while. Krishna was devoured by the duck demon Bakasura. Yeah. So what did Krishna start doing then? He started burning the throat of Bakasura. The burning sensation was so much that the Bakasura demon had to leave Krishna out of his mouth. Yeah. That must have been so painful for Bakasura. Seeing that Krishna was not harmed by this, big beak of Bakasura, Bakasura got very annoyed and started immediately attacking Sri Krishna again and again. So Krishna's whole body is sweeter than a sugar candy. But that is only for the devotees of the Lord. Bakasura tasted Krishna and then it started burning his throat. What does the fourth chapter, first 11th sloka give us the information? Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. As you surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you get the reward which is of similar nature. And then, anyway, Krishna says, Mama Vartmanu Vartante. Anyway, everybody follows my path. Yeah? Manushya Partha Sarvasaha. As you all surrender, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path, O son of Pritha. So Krishna makes this statement. What is this? Everyone following the path? We have two paths. One is following Maya, and the other is following the path of Bhakti. So when we are in, both these are energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have no choice but to take of shelter of Krishna either through his potency of Maya or through the process of Bhakti. We are very fortunate that we have taken this path of Bhakti to be on the path of Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So ultimately, Bakasura was captured. The two beaks Krishna held with his two hands and bifurcated them. I'm sure Krishna would have, you know, increased in size because those beaks were real big and very wide open as well. We'll discuss how keeping your mouth wide open, except when you speak Krishna consciousness, is not a very good, sort of quality that we can have. Yeah, open your mouth only to the extent required. Okay, so he just split the entire mouth and the beaks as though a small piece of grass was being torn apart by the small child Sri Krishna. Okay, immediately the heavens started giving mallika flowers. The and kettle drums were being blown by the Gandharvas. Yeah, no, Gandharvas are the musicians, and who are the Gandharvas are the singers. Who are the people who play musical instruments? He is all in all. So anyway, uh, when they saw these pastimes, the cowherd people were extremely pleased, and they were also wonderstruck, and they related the issue in Vrindavan that the Lord has returned from the mouth of death. So nobody naturally believed these young boys, they just hallucinate and see something. That is the quality of love for Krishna in Vrindavan. It's pure love. How do we differentiate the love between Yashoda Maya and Devaki Mataji? Devaki had done, she is like a sadhaka bhakta. She had done meditating on the pastimes of the Lord for tens of thousands of years to become the mother of Krishna. But somewhere in the corner of the mind, probably during the birth of Krishna also, Krishna showed the four-handed form to Devaki. So she was kind of aware that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. She had that consciousness. Whereas in Vrajavasis, they don't accept that Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. He is my young friend. I will jump onto his back and make him my horse for the rest of the day. He lost this match with me, and this is the punishment I have to give him. So, this was their relationship with Krishna, and Yashoda maxed it in that feeling. Yashoda's love for Sri Krishna is like, if there is a mountain of mustard seeds, one small mustard seed is the love that the greatest mother on the earth planet can have for their son when compared to the mountain of mustard seeds of love that Yashoda had for Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah? It's just one mustard seed. And we are talking about the greatest mother on the earth planet. All mothers love their children dearly, but that was just a mustard seed of the love that Yashoda Maya had for Sri Krishna, because what happens is when love is being exchanged and you know that the person you're loving is like, a great personality, there is a restriction in the exchange of love that we have, right? So Devaki was aware that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have seen his four-handed form, whereas Mother Yashoda was just thinking Krishna is my little child and I must protect him always. So there was no barrier for exchange of transcendental love between the mother and son. So that is the quality of love of all the Brajavasis of Vrindavan. So they never thought that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of God. Even now, You go to Vrindavan, see how people relate. They say, hey, Krishna, oh, kya chor hai? They say, yo, badmash hai, Krishna. That's the way they relate to Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when you associate with Krishna in that manner, then what happens? Shubhi Tat Shanat, it is mentioned, right? Tat Shanat. In a moment, you start, becoming a devotee of Krishna and start getting this kind of a transcendental pleasure. Because what happens if you associate with Sri Krishna? 176, what does it say? Anartho pasamam shakshat bhakti yogam adhoksaje lokasya janato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. Anartho pasamam shakshat. All the material, you know, feelings that we have, all the material contaminations that we have, what happens to that? Anartho pashamam sakshat. It gets completely mitigated very, very soon, right? If you do bhakti yogam adoksaje, bhakti to the supreme transcendental personality of Godhead. There is no other method or path of trying to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead only through the process of bhakti. Do bhakti to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Supreme Transcendental Person, Adoksaja. And then Lokasya Janato Ajanato Vidvams. And Srila Vyasadeva knew that most of the people in the material world, ajanato vidvams, they did not know about this of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and bhakti as the process. Yeah. Therefore, Chakre Satvata Samhitam. So Vyasadeva compiled this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like Amala Purana, the topmost Purana, so that we can associate with Krishna through the book Bhagavatam, right? Bhagavatam is non-different from Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like this, Bakasura was finished, you know, when the message came from Kunal Prabhu, he tried to infuse the idea that I should, try to explain the technicalities of this pastime, you know, the spiritual portions of this pastime. Yeah. Whereas we opt to discuss Krishna Katha more. Yeah. Katha is the best way of understanding Tattva. Tattva is important, not that it's not important, but what could be more pleasurable than understanding the Tattva of Krishna consciousness than the process of understanding the Tattva through the process of Katha of Krishna. So the pastimes continued, and then one day they all planned a picnic in Vrndhavan. So when we say picnic, there are hundreds of thousands of cowherd boys. Here the ladies are not allowed. So only the cowherd boys planned a picnic. All the mothers made exciting prasadam for them and gave them full in their tiffin boxes. They all meet in one place in Vrindavan, near the Krishna Balram tree. Yeah? And then they planned where to go. The space was unlimited, the number of cows was unlimited, the number of calves were unlimited. No, only the calves were going because this is Krishna when he was 3.5 years old. They were allowed only to tend to cows. So cows, boys, and so many cowherd boys, everybody assembled there under the Krishna Balram tree. The descendant of the tree still exists. That is where the Parikrama Marg starts. And then they plan their activities of the day, where to go and what to do. Yeah. For children, this will be a fun thing. No going to school, no going anywhere. Every day it's picnic time with Krishna and Balaram. Isn't that wonderful? Even for all of us, right? So when we go on yatras, it's like a picnic, right? We all laugh, we all, crack jokes at each other, and we enjoy ourselves in transcendental pleasure because we are, associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Lord is, explained as asankhata, that is, He is unlimited in nature. So the Vrindavan expands to accommodate as many unlimited cows, unlimited gopas, and unlimited trees, unlimited everything. Krishna is by nature um is unlimited. So we should transcend this temporary material nature where the enjoyment that we get is of a very temporary nature and very limited nature. We should transcend from the limited to the unlimited nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How good will that be? Yeah. So now we come to the real reason why Krishna actually descended to the earth planet. The technical reasons we keep repeating that verse. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chatushkritam dharma samstarpanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So the real reason is Krishna wanted to, you know, display these wonderful leelas and attract all of us for the spiritual enjoyment. Move from the temporary to the eternal, unlimited nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of them present there were engaged in different ways. Some were imitating birds, some were imitating animals, some were playing bugles made of bamboo. They were enjoying, and some were kind of jumping with the frogs in the river. Side by side, they were swimming with the frogs. Just try to capture this scene in the core of your heart and think how enjoyable it was. We have done all these things in our childhood, right? Nothing different, but this was transcendental. So somehow or the other, everybody was associating with Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you may think of the Lord as an ordinary child. You can think of the Lord as the source of the Brahman. You may think that his effulgence is as very important, or you may think that he is the origin of the Paramatma, or you may think of him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Come what may, ultimately we all have to come to the point of 18.66 Sarva Dharman Parityacha Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papepyo Mokshayishyami Ma Suchaha. So, this is a very common verse, everybody knows this by heart. So, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. Sarva Dharman Parityacha Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Krishna wants our exclusive attention. Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papepyo. I'll deliver you from all sins. Ma Suchaha. Do not fear. Krishna says. He says and assures us and reassures us throughout the Bhagavad Gita, but still we are not convinced, right? That is, I am not. We are still dabbling with the material nature and trying to get some enjoyment which is so temporary. Yeah. So he gives all these. I'm reminded of Sukadev Goswami's instructions to Maharaj Parikshit. Kama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Right? What does that mean? Kama, if you don't have any material desires, or sarva kamova, you have all kinds of material desires. Yeah. Akama sarva kama moksha kama udaradi. Or you need liberation from this material world. In any circumstances, what should you do? Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. And that is the right process for worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do not worry if you have material desires. Just do Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. And if you do Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, we will somehow be cleansed by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all the acharyas in the line of devotion will take care of you. We used to have this, pastime with my spiritual master. We used to go to the beaches of Sharjah and Dubai. The Western people, they love the sun very much. We don't like it very much. We like AC. But still, Guru is there, so he is calling, I have to go. So I used to patiently sit with him. He used to lay down on the beach, enjoying the sun. He had already told me that you have to carry the Bhagavad Gita with you. And then I am supposed to read Bhagavad Gita with the purports. He'll be intensely listening to the purports of Srila Prabhupada and the translations, and he would stop me, and then he will comment on Srila Prabhupada's purport to deepen my understanding of the scriptures. And then on one occasion, I distinctly remember he said that, you know what, it's a different matter. We all know and we understand that the sannyasis are above the modes of material nature, but they don't think like that all the time. He just made a very important point. He said that the very fact that we are born in the material world, we are within the three modes of material nature. He included himself there. But there is one thing that is for certain. And what is that certainty? That certainty is that if we hold on to the dhoti of Srila Prabhupada sincerely and follow his instructions, we are going back to Godhead anyway. And if we go, we won't allow you to be here. We'll take you along with us. So we may not be very perfect yet, but if we sincerely hold on to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, um, then we are going back to Godhead for sure. You know, I don't like it very much when you say, Prabhu, it may take me thousands of lifetimes before I go back to Godhead. I am very fallen, Prabhu. That's like insulting Srila Prabhupada. Everybody here aspire to follow him sincerely. There will be shortcomings, but in spite of our shortcomings, we will go back to Godhead if we are sincere to the instructions of our Guru and Srila Prabhupada and the entire Parampara. That's a great point. Yeah? Okay, then it was time now when these cowherd boys enjoy transcendental pleasure. That is something which demons hate. Demons don't like our transcendental pleasure. They might be waiting outside here. The moment you go down, some demon will come and tell you, why you park the car here? You are disturbing me. There are demons everywhere. So the demons don't like that you go for a Hare Krishna program and enjoy yourself like this listening to Krishna Katha. So Aghasura presented himself. Aghasura was a huge python. Okay? It was like 8 miles long python. Yeah, we'll take another 5 minutes. Yeah. It's okay. Today no announcements. Handing over gifts, all that you can do privately. Let's listen to Krishna Katha. The demonly quality has come in me also a little bit to disrupt the program of the day. Yeah, so he spread his mouth, and the inside of his mouth was like a big cave. It just lay on the road, expecting to swallow Krishna, Balaram, and all the the cowherd boyfriends of theirs. The lower lip was resting on the surface of the earth so that there is no gap for anybody to slip from this side or that side. And the upper lip was practically touching the clouds. Yeah, so that's how big. Demons are like, we just discussed, they are like kala. Kala means he who desires the suffering of others and gets pleasure from the suffering of others. What are the saints? They are paradukka, dukhi. Yeah, the demons are para, dukkha, dukhi, sukhi. You know, when they see the pain of others, they feel very, very happy. So the demon was very annoyed that these people are enjoying these pastimes. So it had very sharp teeth, of course, mouth wide open. And then when they saw this, what is the consciousness of the people in Braja? They thought that, look, this is like some huge cave, you know, maybe one of the special picnic spots in the land of Vrndhavan. We should explore this place. So the gopis called out to people who were swimming, people who were imitating the animals there, people who were just wandering here and there in the forest, come here and come to this great picnic spot, who was none other than the python. Pythons are very dangerous, you know. I saw one geography channel where the python, what was it doing? It was being taken care of by the owner of that python for a long time. Suddenly, the python stopped eating. Have you seen any of you? And then this python started coiling the owner. The owner said, my God, the python is not eating, but it loves me so much. And it is coiling me around so gently. But actually, the python was sizing up the size of the owner because it had the intention to swallow the master. Okay, so that is the quality of the serpent family. They are very envious by nature. So, uh, it had a sort of a red tongue as well. Yeah, so, and the inside of the Agasura was very smelly, eating all kinds of meats and animals, very smelly tongue. This is very, very important for all of us to learn this, that we must have a fresh breath. Use nice paste, nice brush, floss your teeth if necessary to take out all the, uh, you know, particles that are there in between the teeth. Srimati Radharani had a golden tongue cleaner. Yeah. So we must to practice devotional service because we are associating with devotees. Once I remember that we had gone for a Damodar program in Dubai. So the Damodar program was over, and then we have told repeatedly that the food has to be without onion garlic, but somehow the host made a mistake. One of the items had very, very tasty onion inside. So I could get the aroma and then I kept it aside. We should not complain at that time because we are giving Krishna consciousness to people, you know. So one devotee ate it nicely. After going home, he is very agitated. He said, Prabhu, ये क्या है? Devotee ऐसा किया, वैसा किया, इसमें अनियन है, ये है, वो है, and all that. मेरा भक्ति भंग हो गया. अभी क्या करना है? खा तो लिया. मजा आया. He said, what is your suggestion? My suggestion is, don't go near devotees for next. Is it raw onion or cooked onion? Said, oh, it was cooked. Okay, then the treatment lasts 2 days. Don't go near devotees and don't hug devotees for the next 2 days. What else? You already done it. Before that, if you ask for suggestion, yes. So that way, the Agasura demon's mouth was very, very stinky. But these devotees saw Krishna in everything. They consider the dust of the land of Vrindavan as the cosmetic for the Lord. The fruits are, meant for the pleasure of the Lord. The trees are shelter for the Lord. He who is the shelter for all the living entities, they consider the trees to be the shelter of the Lord. And Vrindavan is the very soul of the Paramatma. So all the animals in Vrindavan, they serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in various ways. The wild buffaloes of Vrindavan, they used to scratch the trunks of the trees. They knew the science much better than us. The elephants, they used to uproot certain varieties of trees in Vrindavan. And then there are animals who trample and uproot the grass of Vrindavan, but carefully select these things because they know which tree, which bark, and which trunk, and which roots of which tree, and the which grass is very good for the inner fragrance. So they want to bring out the inner fragrance so that Vrindavan is a very, very fragrant place. Yeah. So Vrindavan, we see it with trucks and traffic and this and that. And that is because we have not developed the vision properly. There is a layer of Maya in the land of Vrindavan. That's why we always say that we have to go with for any yatra with senior devotees, then that layer of Maya on Vrindavan is captured, right? So, so the boys, they thought it was a nice cave for enjoyment. They entered the mouth of Agasura, and Krishna said, "Oh my God, they don't know that this is Agasura demon, the python demon sent by," and Agasura, I think, was the brother of Putana and brother of Bakasura as well. Yeah. So he had the anger that my brother and sister has been killed by Krishna. So he did not close his mouth till Krishna entered the mouth. Since there was no other opportunity to save them, Krishna said, I must enter and save my devotees who have gone into the uh, body of Agasura. So what did Krishna do? Very simple. He enlarged himself, suffocated, and killed Agasura. Yeah, and saved his associates. Right. That was the only way because he was thinking, how will I kill this Agasura and also save my devotees? The only way was by enlarging himself and choking and suffocating Agasura to death. Actually, the calves and boys died because of the stink inside the mouth of Agasura. I mean, it can be terrible, right? Eating all the nonsense, not maintaining a clean surroundings. So, Krishna brought them to life, and uh, you know, he's so merciful when he kills any demon. Agasura first got, liberation, Sayujya liberation, that's like merging with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Later, he got Sarupya Mukti, which is like a life in Vaikuntha planets with the same four-handed form of Vishnu. Yeah. So anyone who is killed by Krishna, moksha is guaranteed. So if anybody tells you the Mahabharata war was a war of violence, no. Everybody who fought the war died in the presence of Krishna, got liberation, which is the goal of human life, right? So Mahabharata is the war of peace, not of violence. Okay. So, so listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam. How do you listen? In the mood of Parikshit Maharaj. That is what gives us success. So he just considers himself as a very low grade Kshatriya. Why? Because we are all fighting in this material world to get out of this mood of control. So he says, I am such a low grade Kshatriya because if you have to be a Kshatriya, you have to be having that sense of control, right? And you control even Brahmanas. So therefore, I'm a very low grade Kshatriya. Hence, I was cursed to die in 7 days. Look at the mood of Maharaj Parikshit. And this was, I think, we are closing into the fifth day. Another 2 days, he is going to be killed by the snake and give up his life. So that was the greatness of Maharaj Parikshit. Yeah, we are all worried about the prasadam getting delayed by 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Maharaj Parikshit listened to the Srimad Bhagavatam from the lotus lips of Sukadev Goswami. For 7 days, 7 nights, no thirst, no hunger, no water, no food, nothing. Totally focused on Srimad Bhagavatam. And we have to develop that mentality of Maharaj Parikshit, a very nirmatsaranam satam, very humble nature, to be able to capture the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry, devotees, for crossing the time, but it was very pleasurable for me. Thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna. Why not? If I'm not able to answer, you answer. What we'll call that? Manifestation of Kali Yuga. Prayena alpayushaha sapya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadruta. So there are so many people are quarrelsome, people are short-lived, people are manda buddhi, yeah, and they are very unlucky. And that is the very basis of the Srimad Bhagavatam being spoken. So these things are bound to be there. When demons came during Krishna's time, they will come now as well. But somehow or the other, you have to be a titik shaban. We should somehow be able to tolerate this and progress in our Krishna consciousness in spite of the various challenges that come, right? So these wars will go on. And what is the wars a result of? It's like disaster waiting to happen. You go to Europe, you find that it's all very peaceful. You find that everybody is enjoying themselves, nice roads, nice traffic. Somebody went to Malaysia and they called us and said, our country is so bad. Look at Malaysia. But with the kind of meat eating that is happening, it's disaster waiting to happen. today or tomorrow. So these are bound to be there. Quickly escape, practice devotional service, and go back home, back to God. Hari Bol, I am with you. Come on. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the beautiful plan. So, Prabhu, I have a question from that earlier point. Sometimes it is said that senior devotees that we actually thank you for taking us. Actually, I could visualize us moving from Goloka to sorry, Gokul to Vrindavan. Right? But sometimes it is said that you should not try to imitate this, right? To like think that oh, you are like a friend of Krishna, or you should be like some relationship with Krishna. You should focus on your sadhana. So how do we actually differentiate it and make sure that people are on the right path?
Yeah, sadhana is of utmost importance. Unlike what is sadhana? Sadhana means practice, right? So we do practice in every field of life, right? You have to learn some skill in the office. You have to do some sadhana practice. But this sadhana leads us to sadhya, which is perfection. And what happens so special about Krishna consciousness? At sadhya, when you have reached, what do? You continue your sadhana. Right? That's the beauty. So you practice with more joy. Yes, so I think sadhana is the cornerstone of spiritual success, which will lead you to sadhya. Why pure devotees are saying that we should not imitate? Because actually the people who imitate are called sahajiyas, right? Sahajiyas generally you find them, dancing like the gopis of Krishna, they imagine. So they are not realistic in their approach, and many of them, many of us, including myself, are very small time devotees. So we should not cheat ourselves by thinking we are this or that. At the appropriate moment, the reality will dawn, and we will never know till then what is our real relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. That will unfold itself in time. No need to do any kind of imitation. And when it unfolds, it unfolds. You know, it's better not to even. Some people say that Srila Prabhupada was a cowherd boy. That's his, sort of constitutional position. I am not worried what he is. Without him, I wouldn't be sitting on the Vyasasam and talking Srimad Bhagavatam, you know. And my aspiration is not even to meet Krishna. First, I would like to meet Srila Prabhupada, joke around, laugh around a little bit with him, and then do the other business. So it's not important what Srila Prabhupada's constitutional position is. What is important is he did his sadhana, he has attained sadhya, perfection, and one day we will associate with him. That's the aspiration that we all should have. Associate with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his beautiful Golok Dham, where we get to see a Vrindavan which is without any of these traffic and mud and pigs. Yeah, somebody told me those pigs in Vrindavan are people who did some aparad and they have been born as pigs. Well, they were Brahma actually, no? Yeah, something like that. But we won't speculate on all that. Try and lead a life without aparad as much as possible. Serve devotees, even in devotional service. There is an aspect of control which comes in, right? Is senior devotee, junior devotee. The more senior you are, the more chances of committing aparad. Aparad from senior to junior is easily possible. Yeah, because you can subjugate people. Prabhu, come here. This is your service. No, I like to do this. So, no, I am telling you, do this. Yeah. So senior to junior aparadh is, you know, more possible. It's not just aparadh from junior to senior. That is better because the senior, if he's really senior, he will have compassion and excuse the devotee. But where does the senior go? He has to go to his senior. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Krishna, thanks for the class. So my question is that you mentioned that like Rasul after killing Krishna after killing him, like he not only got the Sari Jyoti but he also got a Sarupya. Okay, so just wanted to understand it. Generally, demons killed by the Supreme Lord, they don't get entry into the spiritual world in forms like they only get merged into the Supreme as the Brahman. But why in case of Krishna, like how Rasul got Sarupya as well?
Uh, I'll ask Krishna this point, but when the time comes. But what I can think is that, he has participated in the sporting pastimes of the cowherd boys of Vrindavan. He has facilitated being used as a playground for the boys in Vrindavan, and he has given a lot of joy to the Vrajavasis. So maybe he did something better than even the others. So therefore, he was promoted to Vaikunta planets. But I will not speculate further on this. Let me just study again and see whether there is any other point more than this. But it's a fact that he got Sarupya Mukti. But Sarupya Mukti, that's like promoted to Vaikunta planets.
For example, Putna got like the position of Dhatri
Yeah,
Goloka because she was like acting like a mother and
mother.
Krishna. So somehow, I think in Rasul's case also.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful, isn't it? She took the position of a mother, even though it was acting, Krishna awarded her. But all these are more examples and analogies that are given to give you the idea how merciful the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. So it's so easy to attain perfection in bhakti if you understand how merciful the Lord is. I guess we should focus on that, though these are points which we need to study. But the Lord is very merciful. We don't know. The Lord, besides loving his devotees, he also likes to have boxing matches, wrestling matches. So he needs some devotees who become wrestlers against him as well. So we don't know their past lives, the amount of piety they have done, and they've come in the form of Putana, come in the form of Agasura to give pleasure to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that overrides everything, and they are awarded with moksha or liberation.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Well,
you.
for devotees, even Vaikuntha Loka is not very exciting, very formal situation. What was that devotee's name who went from planet to planet and reached Vaikuntha planet? Gopal, Brihad Bhagavatamritam. He reached Vaikuntha. He could not see Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Lakshmi, Sahasrasata, Sambrahma, Sevya Manam, Govindam, Adipurusham, Tamaham, Bhajami. In Vaikuntha planet, thousands and thousands of Lakshmis are serving the opulent Vishnu in that planet. But he could not see Vishnu from the Aishwarya perspective. He just saw his Gopal was there. He could see only Gopal for, there. He started running towards Vishnu. Hey Gopal, hey Gopal. Everybody stopped him on the tracks. Baba, there is some decorum here. You can't just go, you know, jumping the queue and not following the etiquettes. But Vishnu could understand. He said, Gopal, come here. Don't stop this guy. And then you don't know how many lifetimes, this is Vishnu speaking. You don't know how many lifetimes I've been waiting for you to come. But you're coming just now. I'm so happy that you've come. But I know where you belong. And then the Pushpak Viman comes and takes him from Vaikuntha Loka to Golokdham. So the Lord wants us more than we want the Lord. You know. So let's use these Krishna Leelas to inspire us to associate with Krishna, play with Krishna, and go back home, back to God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Thank you, Prabhuji, for
Hare Krishna.
beautifully taking us all the way from Gokul to Vrindavan and then taking us to each of the others, Adhasurudaya, Upanasarudaya. And one thing I love about Prabhuji, the way he speaks, right, it actually touches your heart, right? You can see things happening in front of you. So, Prabhuji, I would really hope to come and that you keep coming regularly here.
I'm
Please,
all yours, 5 days notice.
let's sing for Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama.
Rama. A few announcements. So anyone coming for the first time to the center? Please, anyone from the camp, please come forward. Prabhuji, we have a gift for them.
Thank you, Prabhu. Send me the link. Sure. I need to send to the Dubai ones. Sure, sure. Definitely.